Everyone, the topic of my presentation is a wideband zinc oxide energy harvester for IoT based sensors. The outline of the presentation is motivation, introduction, application area, device architecture, literature survey, need for wideband energy harvester, conclusion, and references. Nobel laureate Licha Smalley gave 50 challenges for the next 50 years. One of the biggest challenges was energy. Some of the key trends driving innovation are new innovative products, smarter and smaller devices, smart devices that communicate and control the environment, health, industrial, buildings, appliances, and transportation, new power solution. The solution lies in being making the thing smaller. Energy harvesting is the process of capturing ambient energy and storing as electricity. Energy harvesting is a replacement to finite sources. Needs knowledge of devices, physics, electronics. Energy harvesting is a production of off-grid energy, off-grid renewable energy, or the green clean energy. The need for energy harvesting. The growing need for renewable sources, reducing the dependency of battery power, complexity and increased cost of wiring, increasing the popularity of wireless networks, limitations of batteries, reducing the environment impact, and increasing the lifetime of the sensor nodes. Energy harvesting capabilities range from 10 nanowatt to up to 100 watts. The area in which the microscale energy harvesting works lies from 10 nanowatts to up to 100 milliwatts. Some of the basic energy sources are ambient radiation, which gives RF signal. The conversion mechanism used is electromagnetics, ambient light, sunlight, and illumination. The mechanism uses photovoltaic. The mechanism used in this energy harvester is vibration, machine vibration, or the human motion. Conversion mechanisms are piezoelectric, electrostatics, and electromagnetic. The other methods are fluid flow, thermal, and pressure variation. Why we consider vibration? Vibration is easily available in an environment. Thermal gradients are small and hence less efficient. In most places, RF energy harvester cannot be applied. Solar is a bulky and requires large implementation. Movement and vibration are the logical choices. Nothing rests, everything vibrates, everything moves. Among the vibration energy harvesting, we have three kinds of energy harvesting: piezoelectric, electrostatics, and electromagnetics. Piezoelectric requires no separate voltage sources. 2 to 10 volts of voltage can be developed, no mechanical stops, and has high energy density. The disadvantage is it has a low value of output current, which reduces the output power. In the electrostatics, it is easily able to integrate with the microelectronics. Voltages are similar to those of piezoelectric, but they require a separate voltage source in order to charge the material. They require mechanical stops. Electromagnetic, it has no mechanical stop or no separate voltages, but the maximum voltage output is 0.1 volt, and it has a difficulty of integrating with the microsystems. Hence, piezoelectric is the best and better integration with the energy harvesting circuitry. Piezoelectric mechanism works in the form of dipoles. As we all know, all materials have dipoles. One is a positive and a negative charge. These positive and negative charges, when they are aligned by application of a strong electric field in a single direction, that is, there is a center of negative charge and a center of positive charge on a material. On application of stress, these two charges separate out from each other, which causes a magnetic field, which causes an electric field on the outside of the material. Hence, the mechanical force, gets converted into stress, which causes the accumulation of charges on the surface, which leads to electric field, voltage, and resultant power. At micro level, these piezoelectric energy harvesting sources have been utilized in power generating for sidewalks, gyms, mobile e-pads, shoe insert, floor mats. At micro level, they have been utilized in biomedical devices and IoT based wireless sensor nodes. In biomedical devices, pH has been utilized in heart rate monitoring systems, in the pacemakers. They have high power density for the MEMS based approach. Further minimization of biosensors is by reducing the need for relatively large batteries. In front of the shoe, with the pressure, it goes up to 1.8 milliwatt. PZT Unimorph and non-linear devices in backpacks while walking, running, and walking, running, they give the power up to 2.46 milliwatt. IoTs are the next generation systems which we are working on. We all know we will live in a connected environment where all the things will be connected with the help of wireless sensor nodes distributed throughout our environment. In vehicles, in agriculturals, in energy consumptions, in buildings, in everyday things. We would able to manage everything by a single network. Some of the sensors which will be used in IoTs have a following power requirements, like for movement, accelerometers require 10 to 20 microwatt at maximum of 100 to 200 microwatt. Gyroscope require 1 to 10 milliwatt and a maximum of 10 to 20 milliwatts. Environmental monitoring for ambient pressure, for ambient temperature and humidity, air quality, dust and proximity have been mentioned in this work. Now, from this work we can conclude that we require a power in the range of 1 to 10 milliwatt for most of the applications. The device architecture for the system lies in extracting ambient vibration source using a piezoelectric energy harvester. Then from that energy harvester through the energy harvesting circuitry, we would power the low power applications. The key requirement for the energy harvester are energy from ultra low ambient energy sources, capture and accumulate store energy, high mechanical strength, and integration with the energy harvesting circuitry. It is important for the energy harvester to integrate well with the energy harvesting circuitry. Some of the piezoelectric energy harvesters have been developed by many researchers are being shown here. They will be compared on the basis of the volume of the device, volume of piezo, frequency, load resistance, voltage output, power density and power factor. These energy harvesters have been working on using different modes of operation like the D31 mode and the D33 mode, and also some are also working in the D15 mode. Among these modes, D31 mode is the best mode which would be utilized in this work. As so, while we move on to our energy harvester structure, it is important to understand that which mechanical device should we have used initially. So what we started off with a diaphragm, a beam and a cantilever. All of them had equal volumes and an equal amount of force was applied on it. This led to the following total deformations: elastic strains and equivalent stress. A comparison of these devices shows that the cantilever had a 97% more deformation as compared to the beam and 99% more as compared to the diaphragm, while the elastic strain was 84% to the beam and 95% to the diaphragm, and the stress, which is the most important factor, was 85% more on the beam and 95% more on the developed diaphragm. Moving on to the output power generation for the cantilever. These are the following modes in which the cantilever has been vibrating. These are known as the eigenfrequency or the resonant frequencies. These are the first and the second one. This is the third and the fourth. This is the fifth and the sixth. In order to reduce this resonance frequency, which are quite high, we inserted a proof mass on the top of the energy harvester. This proof mass on the top of the energy harvester was of the similar material as the substrate of the energy harvester, with the piezoelectric layer lying on the top and the bottom of the substrate. This is the meshed model in which the COMSOL tool divides the harvester into small components. Mathematical analysis of one such component, we will be able to determine the analysis of the complete device. These are the eigenfrequencies for the harvester with the proof mass. This is the first and the second one. The first one is at 90 Hz and the second one is at 425 Hz. Similarly, the third and the fourth, fifth and the sixth. In energy harvesting, we try to utilize the lower energy harvesting frequencies. Hence, the first or the second one at maximum cases is being utilized in most of the energy harvesters. Now, as we can see, there is a huge gap. These are the values of the compression and tension on the piezoelectric surfaces. Both of these are the piezoelectric surfaces. This is the lower surface and this is the upper surface. Moving on, we developed a current of around 6.5 microamps from the energy harvester. We developed a voltage of around 70 volts and power generated was around 0.5 milliwatt. Now, this energy harvester was working only on a singular triangular wavelength, as you can see. So, the ambient vibration frequency has to be in this band, but these ambient vibration frequencies are random in nature. Hence, in order to extract maximum power, we need to have a bigger, wider band. Like, these are some of the energy harvesting sources. Like the home appliances, they mostly vibrate in one single frequencies, and as is the car. But when a man is running, when a train is moving on the tracks, or there's a bridge, these vibration frequencies have a wider band. Most of the energy harvesters utilize non-linear methods in order to achieve a wider band, while the linear harvesters normally have a singular band. These are some of the energy harvesters. Among this, the MEMS-based harvester, the bandwidth for achieve without non-linearity was around 1 to 2 Hz. With non-linearity, it was around 10 Hz. Hence, these are the energy harvesters that have been developed by Tyndall and are also available commercially. These were the design consideration we considered while designing this energy harvester. The total volume was around 1 centimeter cube. The frequency was around 100 Hz, as most of the ambient vibration frequencies lie around the 100 Hz, like the movements on a window pane in a busy road and in the car engine vibrations, etc. There was a 3 dB bandwidth, should be high. The power output should exceed the cantilever harvester, which was 0.5 milliwatt, and it should have a higher power density. What we utilized was a seesaw mechanism. And a seesaw, when a seesaw moves, one arm goes up and the other goes down. So we developed a seesaw based cantilever on the tool and fixed it with the at the bottom, anchored it at the bottom. These were the design parameters for the seesaw energy harvester. The thickness was around 0.04 and 0.06, similar to the cantilever. Width was around 4 mm, which was also similar. The length was higher as compared to the cantilever, and the proof masses were of 9 mm. Thickness of proof mass was around 4 mm, and length of the base was 0.8 mm, and thickness was around 0.5 mm. These were the first and the second resonant frequencies. Now, the main criteria of using the harvester was to bring the first and the second resonant frequency close to each other in order to form a wider band. As you can see from the third stress distribution graph, as you can see, the stress was developed in intermediate resonant frequencies too. This is the graph comparing the power density and stress for the simple side clamp cantilever and the wideband energy harvester. Clearly, the wideband has a wider bandgap and also was able to generate a higher power and developed a higher stress due to its configuration. Next, the simulation and analytical model was developed using the FEM and the Euler-Bernoulli theorem, similarly based on the used for the cantilever, and we found out less than 5% error in simulation and analytical results. As we try to increase the acceleration of the input vibration source, the power increases. F is equal to ma. As the acceleration increases, more force is inserted on the energy harvester, hence more stress and leading to more power. A safety factor was calculated in order to examine the strength of the energy harvester. It was taken to be the maximum stress that can be applied on the harvester divided by the yield strength of the piezoelectric, in this case which was ZNO. So we calculated the safety factor and found At the value of the harvester safety factor was quite large, hence the harvester is stable even under a maximum of 5G acceleration, though the ambient vibration frequency maximum acceleration is around 2G. Hence, these were the comparisons for the cantilever harvester. Though we had a larger volume, but we had a good quality factor. Peak power bandwidth, which was the product of the uh, power and the bandwidth, which was quite good for our energy harvester compared to the cantilever structure. Of course, bandwidth gives us a wider range to work with, hence able to extract more power. As you can see, the resonance frequency of the cantilever was 90 Hz, while for the proposed device it was 105.67 and 115.15 Hz. We conclude that the seesaw energy harvester compared to the cantilever harvester was able to generate more power by 0.735 milliwatt compared to the 0.46 milliwatt for the conventional design, and this harvester without using any non-linear material was quite good in its performance. Apart from this work, I have many publications on the seesaw energy harvester, which are being shown here in many international journals of repute. Some of them are in the book chapters in Springer and in other conferences. Thank you very much. Put up by the committee. The current status of batteryless IoT nodes. Many IoT nodes have been developed recently, which are batteryless in nature, though they are mostly based on the solar energy harvesting, but the vibration energy harvesting nodes are not far off. Tyndall and Ian Ocean are working on the IoT based wireless sensor nodes, which would be used by NASA and other space organizations, as well as for structural health monitoring of buildings, etc. Regarding the lifetime of the device, yes, energy harvester can be used with the battery, and that would enhance the IoT node's lifetime many folds compared to using the energy harvester alone. So, the energy extracted from the energy harvester can be stored in the battery, which could power this node during its lifetime. So, the lifetime of the node would increase drastically. Thank you.